You are listening to the Fitz and Healthy podcast. I am your host, Dr. Lauren Fitzgerald, also known as Lauren Fitz. I'm a medical doctor, a fitness instructor, an entrepreneur, a health and fitness coach, but most importantly, I am a lover of life. And here on the Fitz and Healthy podcast, I intend to give you a ton of great information and knowledge that will serve as potential power so that you can live a life by design and make it more fits and healthy. And don't forget to listen to the disclaimer at the end. I'm not your doctor, yo. All right, enjoy the episode. Much love. Ciao. Hello, YouTube.
Hey,
what
guys.
is up? Happy Friday. Lauren and Cinthanie here for the Fitz and Healthy podcast. It's Friday Q&A live. And now we have our Facebook people live. So what is up? Happy Friday, everyone. This is Fitz Friday Q&A live. We are always here at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm actually on the East Coast right now. Last week, Cinthanie and I were all together in Central Standard Time, but we're here every Friday to answer your questions. And yes, I am a medical doctor. I'm not your medical doctor, but I will answer any and every question you have for me. And if I don't know the answer, because I don't know everything, guys, I'm learning every day. But if I don't know the answer, if Cinthanie doesn't know the answer, we will do our best to find out the answer and get back to you. So our Fitz Friday Q&A's lives, there's no plan for them. If you haven't noticed, like they can start off with a theme like booty. We had booty theme a couple weeks ago, right?
Yes.
Last week's theme was your freaking wedding, Cinthanie.
It was my wedding.
And this week there's really no theme there wasn't a theme until about 30 minutes ago when you sent me and Robert a group text of a picture. So before we get to that, because I don't know if there's any questions that have already been sent to us before I do, because are great teaching points, because if anyone has ever had what's called an abscess or basically an infection that needed to be what we call in the medical world IND. So incised incision and drainage. So basically an infection that is not going to clear up on its own. So you literally need a doctor to go in and cut it open and drain it out, because it's going to keep getting more infected and worse if you don't have. And it doesn't matter how young, how healthy you are, abscesses happen to the best of us. Okay. But before we get into that gross topic, I want to, because we really didn't get a chance for me to ask you, how is your first week of being a married woman?
It was great.
Yeah?
Yeah. I feel old. Like I feel older now. I
Really?
do. I really do. I asked Tanner, who's my husband now, I can say that. But he said he doesn't feel any different. But I feel like I'm like a little bit older. Like I feel like maybe like 5 years of my life got taken off last week. So.
Okay. Well, so one thing that we are going to talk about on an upcoming podcast, because, the whole purpose of these podcasts is to share our life experiences, our knowledge, and what we have done right and what we have done wrong in our past, so that we can help other people to be more fit and healthy, right? Yeah. And one thing that a lot of people that have been following me for a significant amount of time know that one area that I struggle in is relationships, because I'm a divorced 37-year-old female. And so I have been really on a journey of just really learning how to make my next relationship the one that's going to last forever, because I don't want to do this all again. It's not fun. And, there's this one particular podcast that we'll talk about in upcoming, like an actual real podcast that we talk about relationships, because I'm going to share the love with everyone. But I've been learning. And one fear that men have is that, because it happens. They have this fear, because when men get married and say, I do, they're still the same people. Like just like you said, Tanner's like, I don't feel any different. But so many times the woman changes, and the woman all of a sudden goes into this like, oh, I got you, so now I'm going to be someone else. And not that I'm saying that that's what you're doing, but But, you know, it's funny that you said that Tanner doesn't feel any different, but I think a relationship episode is going to be an awesome one. And now we can talk to you about your journey of this first few weeks of being a married woman. And I mean, really, because you guys lived together before, so.
Well, I think that's why it doesn't feel so different for us, because like we didn't go on a honeymoon yet because we are waiting until Tanner's done with school.
Right.
So,
which is the responsible thing to do.
Yeah. And I know we'll both appreciate it more. Like, nobody wants to go on a honeymoon and have homework to do, you know?
No, exactly.
But we already have a house together. We were living in sin before we got married. So we already have a house together, and like a dog and like a dog and like a set schedule. We've been living together for, I think, almost 3 years now. So it doesn't feel totally different because we got married and it was amazing. It was the most perfect day. And then we just went back into our regular routine. So I think that's like, he doesn't feel different.
And can I totally give you a shout out for like the wedding? That was my kind of wedding, like to attend at least.
Cool.
When the day happens that I get married, because I will get married for good, and that will be the last one.
I can't wait to go to your wedding.
Well, but that's the thing though. I don't want, I mean, you know, whoever it is that I, you know, is in my life, if that's what they want, then but that's not what I want. But I love the wedding that I attended last week because it was so, one, the ceremony was all of 15 minutes or less, which was awesome.
Yes.
2, you brought your dog.
I did bring my dog. My dog was my flower girl.
She brought Phoebe how much does Phoebe weigh?
She's 160-pound English Mastiff, so she's bigger than I am. She's a big girl.
Yeah, she's so beautiful, and she's so good. So good.
She was so good.
But and then you rode off on Tanner's dirt bike.
Yeah.
And that picture that Lori got, shout out to Lori.
Yeah. If you guys haven't seen it, so our photographer, actually Lauren has the same photographer I do. She's a traveling photographer. Shout out to Lori Sparkman. But she captured the most perfect picture that was all encompassing of the day and how we both felt. Yeah. So I was going to say my fiance. I'm so used to saying that. My husband. Right? It's still weird.
I know, right?
He is a major like motorcycles, dirt bikes, cars kind of guy. You guys know if you've listened to our episode that we did. But his one request was to have an open bar and to leave on his dirt bike. And both of those things were fulfilled for him. So
it's awesome. It was such a perfect day. And to get to be there, you know, it's such an important day for you. And it was just, shout out to you it was just perfect. It was just perfect.
Thank you.
So we are 6 days out from your wedding, and I am now in DC. So you see a different background. I'm in a hotel actually it's Virginia. I don't know when DC starts and Virginia stops, but the Pentagon was right on the way to.
You're somewhere in there. Yeah.
Somewhere in there. Yeah. So I have 3 major Club Fitz stuff masterclasses going on. One is not really a masterclass. I'm actually showing a bunch of Beachbody coaches what Club Fitz is, which I'm kind of excited about.
That's so fun.
Because most Beachbody coaches don't know what Club Fitz is. So so I'm going to give them a taste. And the number 1 coach in the network is the speaker at this event. So it's a major Super Saturday. So it's tomorrow morning. So I'll basically give them the workout tomorrow for an hour. And then I drive to Virginia Beach, and I'm doing just a last minute Virginia Beach. It's a small venue, doing a Club Fitz masterclass there. And then I come back and do one on Sunday before I fly back. So it's a crazy weekend.
Busy. By the way, I didn't get to ask you, but how was your master class here in Dallas the day after my wedding? Was it
awesome?
Good.
And it was cool because it was at the same place that Jasmine Meakin's master class was. Jasmine Meakin is an Australian dancer. Her YouTube channel is huge. It's Mega Jam. She's a real dancer. She's not Dance Fitness. And when she came to Dallas, that was where I went down for that class, and it was just kind of surreal. Like, wow, I was here taking her class, and now it's my class. It's kind of
awesome.
Cool. So yeah, I got
super cool.
Got to see some really good friends and meet new people and meet some of my coaches that I hadn't met in person too, which was cool. So So it was a fun day for sure.
Good.
So that being said, your leg.
Oh, it's so nasty.
Can I just, so those of you, so people that are listening on the recorded podcast, because obviously we record this live on Friday and then we upload it the very next week. So today is what, the 22nd, right? And
yes,
and it'll be uploaded next week.
It's my older brother's birthday. Shout out to my older brother. Happy birthday. He's in Barcelona right now.
Oh, I was about to say, I don't think I met him, did I?
He was actually the one that officiated our wedding.
Oh, and you didn't tell me that you had a brother with a man bun. Hello.
I have a brother with a man bun, and I made him get ordained so that he could officiate our wedding.
That was awesome.
Yeah, he did really, really good.
Okay, so people that are just listening to this are not going to be able to see this awesomeness, but
oh my gosh, you're going to show the picture. You're going to do the whole thing.
I am because if you're listening to us for the first time, you don't know that Robert is the third party in this whole Fitz and Healthy podcast. He's the silent video and audio producer behind the scenes, and we see him when we're doing this video, but you guys don't ever. And so we have a three-way text message that the three of us communicate. And so Cinthanie literally sent me and Robert on this group text message this picture of her leg. Do you see that?
If you're squeamish, don't look at it.
Yeah. Okay. And that was before it was popped. And then this is after the surgeon.
No, that was before I even went to the surgeon.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, that was at home, actually.
Oh, hail. Wow. Okay. Well, there we go. So that being said, so I thought that before we get to questions for the Fitz Friday Q&A Live, I thought this was a great time to tell a funny story and make it a teaching moment. Okay. So okay. Most people know that I'm 37 years old, right? And I actually started med school when I was 21. And so I was a baby. Now that I mean, of course, you think you're an adult officially at 21, but like now, like I realized what a baby I was, right?
Totally.
So I'm literally your age in third year of med school, 23 years old, right? And so the third year of med school is when you do clinicals. You basically are like, you've spent the first 2 years in the books and you're learning anatomy, physiology, microbiology, blah, blah, blah. And then the third and fourth year, you're putting it into use. So you're in clinic, right? And so the third year is where you get all of the like basic training. You get internal medicine, pediatrics, family practice, blah, blah, blah. All of this stuff just so you can get a taste of everything. So I'm literally in family practice and I'm at I think a military clinic that was contracted with my med school. And this girl was so cute. She was like 15 years old and she had an abscess just like that on her leg, but it was her thigh. It wasn't her lower body. It was her thigh. And I wasn't doing anything. I was just there really observing. It was like my first day in clinic, right? So no hands-on med student yet, right?
Yeah.
And you could tell that she was really sensitive and it really hurt. So, okay. So imagine I've got scrubs on and then I put the gown on because the doctor that I was working with put a little gown on because abscesses can get messy every now and then, as you saw. So I'm gowned up, I'm looking like a doctor and then I'm holding this girl's hand. Okay. And literally the moment that the doctor cut into it, she screamed because it's painful. As you know, it's very painful. And even if you use local anesthetic, because of the pH of the local anesthetic and the acidity of the abscess, the local anesthetic doesn't really work. So you don't really waste your time. So he just went right in. So she squeezed my hand and like, when you feel someone else's pain and you internalize it.
Yes.
Well, I internalized it so much that I passed out. And the next thing I know, my attending was like, Lauren, are you okay? That's the only time I've ever fainted in my entire life. I fainted from the 15-year-old girl getting her abscess cut open and drained. I
feel for her.
Yeah. And it's something that people don't realize. So our skin is the barrier. It's like our first immune defense, right? It blocks from all of the bad stuff getting inside of our body, right? So when we have a cut, our body's immune system attacks it and heals it, right? But sometimes we get exposed to bacteria that just grow and fester. And I guarantee that you got bit by a spider. And oftentimes brown recluse spiders look like that. Yeah. You'll never know. But I mean, when the microbiology comes back, it'll probably be staph, which Staphylococcus aureus grows on our skin. Staphylococcus epidermis.
Don't say grow. I feel like I told Tanner, like, I feel like such a gross person. Like, I promise I'm clean. I shower.
No,
like,
but
gross.
But this is why this is a great teaching point, because this can happen to anyone and everyone, no matter how young you are, no matter how clean you are, no matter how healthy you are. And abscesses are basically like literally so imagine one tiny bacteria cell that duplicates into 2, then duplicates into 4, and it gets into this enclosed, basically encapsulated space of underneath your skin, and where your immune system can't get to it, and essentially it has to be cut open and drained. So especially people that have poor immune systems, those are the ones diabetics don't feel, because diabetics, over time, having high blood glucose damages your nerve cells. So that's why you get the numbing and the tingling and whatnot. So when you have a diabetic that gets an infection on the foot and they can't feel it, that's what leads to that infection going from the skin level to below the skin level, and then it goes to the bone, and then it goes septic, and then that's where people get really sick, right? Yeah. So anyway, so apparently Robert said that we already have a question on YouTube about cellulitis. Yes. Excellent.
So gross. It just like if you, I was telling Lauren before we get to this question, I was telling Lauren and Robert about it, and I thought that it would just kind of figure itself out. I don't like going to the doctor. So it had been kind of building up for the past couple of days. And so my husband made me go to the doctor last night and get it drained. And if you are this is gross, but if you're one of those people that loves to watch the zit popping videos, you would have loved this. It was so gross. The doctor popped it and it shot all over him. It was just the most disgusting, terrifying. It was just so gross. And it's one thing to watch videos, but when it's on your body, you're experiencing it, it's just so gross that it's coming from you. Yeah. It was so disgusting. And it probably took a good 5 minutes of them pushing on it and stuff to clean it completely out. And it was so gross. And I was telling them, if you could imagine, when you have a blackhead or something in your ear or your nose, those are the most painful, right? They hurt the most. Imagine that, but on your leg and 10 times the pain. It's just the most disgusting. There's a hole in my leg. It's so gross. But, okay. So anyways, that was my experience with it.
Just so you know, they're in the OR, when we have cases like that, the abscess is so bad that we have to put the patient to sleep. Everyone in the OR is usually oh, gross.
They can react. You can react because there's no, my husband was sitting in there and he just was just chilling, just watching. He was totally not fazed by it at all.
Yep, exactly.
It was ugh. But yeah, people love to watch those videos. I had so many people that messaged me on Instagram, then they were I would have popped it for you. I'm that is so gross. I don't understand that obsession. People have such an obsession with it, and I don't get it.
It's real.
But
it's real. Right. Okay, so our first question on YouTube about cellulitis after weight loss.
Yeah. So I have a serious question. I'm 41 and have Hashimoto's, weigh 475, and just got over cellulitis. Okay. Sorry for you. Do you have any suggestions on how you can start losing weight?
Okay. So 475. So we're talking about a category that you definitely have to start with baby steps, okay? Because with you weighing 475, you are putting yourself at risk for cellulitis throughout life. And truly, because of all of the hormonal imbalances that are going on in your life right now, you are setting yourself up for not just infections like cellulitis, but you're setting yourself up for, I wouldn't be surprised if you're already diabetic, if not diabetic, pre-diabetic for sure. Where to start? So my question to you is, what have you done so far that hasn't worked? And are you still doing it? Because that's what so many people that try to lose weight do. They think, okay, well, I'm going to go on this diet, I'm going to go on that, and it doesn't work. Let me just be the first person to tell you, if this is the first time that you've ever listened to us on this podcast, there's no quick fix. There's no magic pill. There's no magic surgery. And this is actually one thing that I do want to talk about on an upcoming episode, because yes, there's weight loss surgery, but the fact is that most people don't talk about the high level of regaining weight, because the people that regain weight after gastric bypass or sleeve or whatever kind of bariatric surgery are embarrassed. And so if you're at a point where you're thinking about weight loss surgery as the only option, you are listening to the people that have been successful, but those people that are successful are the ones that have learned how to start with the mindset. And so changing your mindset is everything. And maybe some people can do it on their own, but most people that have gotten to the level of obesity that you're at haven't been able to do it on their own. And so you need help. And this is where professional help, whether it's like, for instance, there's going to be a physician that I went to med school with that we're going to interview. She's in a weight loss clinic in Arizona, and she works with patients to get them ready for weight loss surgery. More times than not, they end up not having it because they finally learn how to start living a lifestyle. Yeah. But I would guarantee you have Hashimoto's thyroiditis and probably other stuff going on. And so much of it is based on what you're eating, sister. Totally. The food that we eat gives our hormone signals that they're not supposed to work the way that God designed them to work. If we're just talking, let's just pick one thing to cut out. I would love to ask you if you drink soda, because liquid calories like soda, diet soda, energy drinks, sweet tea, like drinking your calories, that's the quickest way to gain unnecessary weight. So if you are drinking anything like that, I would say that would be the first thing. Let's cut that out and just do that for a month. If you are like, no, I don't do that, Lauren, then I would look at cutting out grains, because grains, the connection of grains to your thyroid is huge. But to say that your thyroid is the only thing that's going on that's causing cellulitis, no, you're a whole, an entire picture. Honestly, I would love for you to reach out to his name's Dr. Jason Fung. He has a clinic in Canada, and they do patients they take care of patients all over the world. So if you're not in Canada, that's okay, but they take care of patients at all levels of the spectrum when it comes to weight and weight loss.
So she says Zumba, low carb, high protein, and that her body kept hitting a plateau. Intensive
dietary management. That's exactly. Thank you. Robert's going to post a link in the comments below. So, okay. So first things first, Zumba is great for people that are just starting to lose weight. Like I've had people message me from all over the world that either didn't feel comfortable going to a gym and just doing videos with Club Fitz Fitness, maybe didn't have access to a gym or couldn't afford a gym where they could go and take a dance fitness class. And obviously I will always love dance fitness, but if you want to take your body to the next level, you're going to have to do more than dance fitness. So depending on, this is where you having a personal coach would be awesome, because they will be able to personalize. And if you want to message me privately on Facebook, I would love to coach you. Because literally I have customers that are all sizes. I have some people that have 3 digits to lose, and then I have other people that have that last 5 pounds that they just want to take it to the next level. Right.
Yeah.
And in the private challenge groups that I coach, it's a judge-free zone, because we're all on the same journey. We just want to get better. But I will tell you this, that life is meant to be lived to its fullest, and you aren't living it to its fullest if you're walking around 475 pounds. And that's what I want to be able to give to you, is the knowledge to be able to regain your life back and give you hope that is a possibility, because that so many people that get to high levels of weight on that scale have lost all hope. And I'm here to tell you, don't lose hope. You can get help, but it's not going to be an easy process, and you need help to start that process. And it's so much more than just exercise and eating less and whatnot,
Totally.
So yeah. Okay. Do we have any other questions?
So what are some good books for future entrepreneurs besides GoPro?
What are your top 3 favorites?
I think anything by Gary Vaynerchuk is really good. He excuse my language, but he's a no bullshit guy. Like he says it like it is. And that is the kind of stuff that speaks to me. I don't want to hear stories or experiences. I just want you to cut to the chase and tell me what I need to do. And he does that. So anything by Gary Vaynerchuk is really, really good. I really like him.
Do you ever watch his YouTube videos?
Yeah.
I love watching his YouTube videos. Yeah. And he's got so many of them.
Yes. That's I swear that's all he does.
Yeah, for real.
Records videos.
Okay, and then what others?
The Slight Edge, who was that by? I can't remember who that's
Darren
by.
Hardy.
Darren Hardy, but that's a really, really good one. And then The Compound Effect as well is very, very good.
And who wrote The Compound Effect?
I can't remember.
Oh, it's going to come to me. The Slight Edge is always one of the very first books that I tell my new coaches to read. Mm-hmm. I'm right there with you. And not just books, but podcast. I mean, I'm telling you, the Pat Flynn one, Mind Your Business. No.
Oh, that's not Pat Flynn, but Mind Your Business podcast is so good.
Mind Your Business podcast with what's his face? His name will come to me. But Pat Flynn's is Smart Passive Income.
I'm gonna.
Those are the two.
I have him. The Mind Your Business podcast. Who is it by? Because he always says his name when he does it. When he introduces it.
Yes. Mind Your Business podcast and Smart Passive Income with Pat Flynn. Those are my 2 favorite entrepreneurial
James
podcasts.
Wedmore.
Yes,
James Wedmore. That's what it is.
Yes. Yeah. And James Wedmore is actually the one who I followed him, and it was his podcast about just start your own podcast. It was like, okay, I'm going to do it. It's a sign, because I've been thinking about it for so long. So shout out to James Wedmore. Sorry, we forgot your name, because you're really awesome. You're really good
at podcast. I mean, we knew the name of your podcast and we'll direct people to you.
For sure.
His is one of my favorite business podcasts to listen to.
For sure. Okay. So any other questions that we have?
Victoria said, Lauren, I need you to get to Pennsylvania to do a masterclass one of these days.
I would love to. I would absolutely love to. Y'all, putting on a masterclass is complicated, and like you have to pay for a venue. There are costs that come along with it, and if people don't commit to buying tickets, then it's pointless. Like, so that's the struggle. Now, granted, the 2 masterclasses that I literally just got a venue for like a week ago, these are kind of last minute, so that's why they're small, but they're still gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
But Pennsylvania, I would love to. I was in New Jersey and Pennsylvania about this time last year, November of last year. So that was the last masterclass that I did in this area.
Where can they contact you if they want to plan a masterclass with you?
info@clubfitzfitness.com. That's probably that's probably the best because email me at info@clubfitzfitness.com. So
we do have a couple more questions about abscess. So
yes,
I have opened the floodgates. You're welcome, you guys.
but I mean, I knew that would be a good teaching point, because it's something that. And I mean, I can just hear you in your voice. Like it's almost like you're embarrassed, but you're not. But
it's just the weirdest thing. Like, it's so weird. It just weirds me out, because like I said, like I didn't do anything differently.
No.
Like I just, like, it was such a strange thing, because I didn't personally take it seriously until my husband made me go to the doctor. So it's just like it's just weird. Like I don't know. It's just so weird. And then I have a hole in my leg.
but that's the benefit of having, a doctor that hosts a podcast, because I can tell you by experience that these are so freaking common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. So what are the abscess questions?
Laura wants to know, she said, I get abscess in my excess skin. Is there anything I can do to prevent them? Which is kind of in conjunction with this other question that says, I just had a cyst removed from my scalp this morning, and I'm happy to know that it can happen to anyone. I'm worried if this might reoccur. What can I do to prevent the reoccurrences? So it sounds like they both have reoccurring ones, and they want to know how to prevent that.
Okay. So first things first, if you are walking around with excess weight, because definitely excess weight is just basically a breeding ground for areas, and I'm not okay. I'm going to tell y'all some because I've seen some gross stuff in the OR before.
You just showed like the nastiness on my leg, so people
that's
just
not
gotta
nasty,
know
girl.
that.
Girl, that's not nasty. You haven't even seen nasty.
I believe you. Girl, I believe you.
but truly, like some of the things that I've seen in the OR, like, whew, and when you have excess weight in your abdominal area, there are folds of skin that don't get exposed to air the way that they're supposed to. And this is just a reality. And this is something that a lot of people are ashamed to talk about, but it's just fact that if that, because we have healthy bacteria that live on our skin, right? And that healthy bacteria is supposed to live and symbiotically live with us and benefit us, right? But if it's living in an environment that it was not supposed to live, then that's where infection happens. So first things first, if you're walking around with excessive weight, you definitely need to, and I know that I can already hear people like, you think that I don't know? You don't think I've tried? I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that the risks that come along with walking around with excess weight are so much more than just diabetes and hypertension. And there are things that people don't even think about. And these are all realities that if you don't take your body and your health serious and start doing something different to make a change, it's only going to get worse. And so first things first is if you're walking around with excessive weight, get on a program that gets you going on the right path. And if you need a health coach, reach out to us. We would love to help you. Secondly, you guys, your nutrition, like what you eat, it's basically like you're giving food to the bacteria or not. So clean up your nutrition. And then there's some times in which there's nothing you can do, like this brown recluse spider bites. Truly, more times than not, people don't know when they've actually been bitten by the spider because the actual bite doesn't hurt, but it's the aftermath. And that's why I'm pretty sure that that's probably what happened to your leg, honestly.
Yeah, because I have no idea where else it came from. Like, I didn't do anything differently this week. So
Right. And so there are certain circumstances that even the healthiest of healthy can't prevent. But there are definitely elements in your diet that you can change, and getting back to a whole foods based nutrition plan, making sure that you're drinking water and not drinking soda, drinking diet soda, drinking energy drinks, drinking all of that crap that are like literally every time I travel, I'm just reminded of how unhealthy our nation is because, you know, I'm in a little bubble in California, and not that everyone's healthy in California, but they're way healthier than a majority of people outside of California. And when I travel, I'm just like, we do really have a crisis on our hand, an epidemic on our hand. And start easy with cutting out soda, cutting out the liquid sugar, liquid crap, essentially. So those are the things that would, you know, and I'm sure someone is like, well, what about bathing, guys? Regular bathing and regular self-maintenance is important, but assuming that you already know that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Truly, people don't realize how much the food that they eat affects their skin and and that kind of stuff. And those are things that you're not going to hear any kind of medical doctor. Most medical doctors won't tell you because, again, we're not taught in medical school that nutrition affects anything. In fact, so for the people that don't follow me online, I've been in my hometown of Waco, Texas this past week, and I'm the firstborn. I'm the oldest of, well, it's just me and my brother, but I'm the oldest. and I am just like my dad in so many ways. And my dad can be on the stubborn side. And I admitted to him that all of those years that I gave him crap for saying, because every time he ate chocolate, he would get a pimple. And in medical school, literally, we had a derm lecture about how that's not true, that there have been studies and blah, blah, blah. And it was a dermatologist, an MD, blah, blah, blah. And so this whole time I'm like, whatever, Dad, you're wrong. And I admitted to him, I'm like, you know what, Dad, you're right. Because the food that we eat definitely affects our skin. And and like dairy for me, every time I retest it, I will get pimples.
Or alcohol for me whenever I drink.
Alcohol gives you pimples, huh?
Yeah, I always break out after drinking.
That's crazy. That's crazy. There it is. So shout out to my dad. You were right. I was wrong. I'm okay. I don't know everything. I'm constantly on the path of learning more.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
So Samantha wants to know, she said, is there a way to gain weight in a healthy way? I'm told I'm not gaining enough weight the way that I need to because I'm 6 months pregnant.
So obviously I'm a doctor. I'm not your medical doctor, and this is not medical advice directly to you.
Yeah.
But my observation just in general is that when there is a healthy female that comes around that gains weight the way they're supposed to in pregnancy, it's looked at as unhealthy because we've gotten so far removed from what healthy weight gain is.
Sure.
I remember learning in medical school that, okay, so there's 3 different categories. So if you start pregnancy underweight, you are supposed to gain between 25 and 30 pounds. 25 and 30 pounds. If you are normal weight, you're supposed to gain between 15 to 25. And then if you're underweight, you're supposed to gain between 10 and 20. Overweight. Yeah. Okay. So if you're starting overweight,
sure,
then you're only supposed to gain and those numbers might be, granted, it's been like 15 years since med school. But the whole point is, if you start off pregnancy overweight, you're really not supposed to gain that much weight. If you start off a normal weight, it's, I think, a healthy weight gain for pregnancy is between like 25 and 30 pounds. Mm-hmm. And then for an underweight person, you have a little bit more leeway because you started off underweight. But that being said, I'd be interested to see what her weight gain is at 6 months pregnant. And if it's actually, if we compared it to women, let's say 50 years ago or 75 years ago or 100 years ago, before we had basically new standards, because our new standard of what a healthy weight is totally different now. It'd be interesting to see if she is normal,
Yeah.
But you honestly, the caloric intake that you need to have every day, you only need an additional 300 to 450 calories a day when you're pregnant. So that's why, and granted, yes, I've never been pregnant. So all of you women that are listening to me like, she doesn't know, she's never been pregnant. Yes, I know. I'm just telling you what I learned. But I know that when I learned that, I was like, oh, because I see these pregnant women just eating the heck out of some, a lot of stuff. And it's way more than just an extra 300 to 400 calories a day, Sure. But obviously, if you are wanting to gain weight, you want to do it eating more natural, healthy foods, increase your healthy fats. Don't eat processed foods. Don't eat, vegetable oils and canola oil and soybean oil, all that kind of stuff.
There was a commercial on, I never had the TV on, but I had it on yesterday, and there was a commercial for corn oil and how it's a healthier option. And I just was like, I just want, it was so irritating me.
And it's funny because we used to never have those kind of commercials, but now that more people like us are starting to speak out about healthy oils versus non-healthy oils, I'm sure that the corn industry is starting to feel the effects. And
totally.
So, because the more people that know and are aware, and that's how we vote. We vote with our dollar. And that's why you have to be vigilant about looking at the ingredients of what food you're eating and
I think even just within the last 5 years, there has totally been like a food revolution going on. Like people are starting to be way more aware, which is awesome. Like
for sure.
What a time to be alive.
Yes. No, it's funny because, okay. So you guys, I think I've told you about my friend Jenny. So if you find her on Instagram, she's Jenny Mac Fit.
Oh yeah, we did talk about her.
Okay, so she was actually my brother's age, and I joke like she would have probably been one of my best friends if we were the same age, because we grew up in the same. Her older sister's actually my age, so when you're young, 3 years is like a big difference. And whatever.
The little sister.
Yeah, but she's such a cool chick, and we actually became friends as adults, and she's a trainer at the place that I used to teach aerobics at when I was a teenager, and my dad still works out there. WRS, shout out to WRS in Waco. But Jenny and I were talking about, all sorts. We went to lunch. We worked out a few days together this week, and she kicked my tail end just for the rec. She's got great, I don't have it with me, but she's got great, just little examples of exercises using these X bands. Oh my gosh. Like the girl is phenomenal. Yeah. Phenomenal. But, awesome. But there was a point, what did you say? Geez, you said something. Oh, okay. There was a purpose of me bringing this up. Okay. So food, because we're talking about food, right? And so we're talking and she one of her videos, she has an avocado shirt. And so like, she obviously without asking, she basically knows that like she believes the same thing that we do and preaches the same thing we do. Right. Awesome. And then she was like, girl, have you ever heard of the Perfect Bar? I'm scared to tell people about it because I'm afraid that everyone's going to go buy them from, I think they're at Target. I don't go to Target, but like she sent me a link and these are bars that I've been eating now for a few years and I haven't really told anyone about them because I don't want people to go.
What the heck? You haven't told me about it.
They're and I'm not a vegan, but they're vegan. They're all the ingredients.
They're not those RX bars, are they?
No, they're in the refrigerated section and they're so good. They're so good. So sorry, Jenny. Jenny actually just got turned on to our podcast. She was like, I just now realized.
Shout out to you.
Yeah. But anyway, let's see. Robert just sent us a message. Just heads up as we wrap up the live show. I'm reading this, Robert, to mention the Mark Sisson. Oh yeah, duh.
Oh, that's right.
And I totally forgot to tell everyone about the Brutes episode that was released on Monday because I was here in Waco. So I actually haven't downloaded the Brutes episode to listen to it either yet. So make sure you guys go download the episode from Monday where I interviewed the Brutes, but Mark Sisson's interview is on Monday. Yeah. And I'm so excited.
It was such a good interview. Such a good interview.
It was. So
he's an awesome guy.
Thanks for that shout out, Robert. Appreciate that. He's always keeping us on our toes.
He's like the Wizard of Oz. Like, you know how like how they're like back there. Like that's true. Literally what Robert is the Wizard of Oz. You can't see him, but he's here.
Yep. You can't hear him or see him, but we can.
We can hear him. He's in our ear, but you guys can't hear him or see him.
Exactly. So, all right. Well, we should wrap this up because I do want to keep these between 30 and 40 minutes, 45 minutes. But truly, if you guys have any questions, you can leave it on our Instagram, on Facebook, or you can send them to info@clubfitzfitness.com and we'll get them there as well. So, Cinthanie, I'm super, super excited that you have survived your first week as a wife.
I have. That's the good news. There was a close call.
Right? Right. Okay. And what image of her and Tanner were you talking about?
Oh, yeah.
It's on the
okay.
That's
the picture that we were talking about. So Tanner and I exit on a dirt bike. It was so fun and so great. It was literally the perfect day. Like Tanner and I both just ugly cried the whole day. So
yeah,
literally the whole day.
So. Man, if only my ugly cry looked as good as your ugly cry. I'm just saying.
I had better have looked good because I had like 10 pounds of makeup on. So let's hope that it looked good.
You look beautiful, girl. All right. Well, we have a message for all of the listeners that Cinthanie always likes to tell everyone. So Cinthanie, what do you have to tell them?
You are a good person and you deserve good things to happen to you.
Amen. Hope you guys have had a great week. Have a great Friday. And we'll see you guys same place, same time next week. Bye. Make sure that you find us on social media. You can find Cinthanie on Instagram and Facebook at Cinthanie. So that's CINTHANIE. And on Snapchat at Cinthanie P. And find me on social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all at Club Fitz Fitness. Remember, that's FITZ Fitness. And on Snapchat, just at Club Fitz. I appreciate your time listening so much. If you enjoyed this episode of the Fitz and Healthy podcast, can you please go do me a favor and go subscribe
at whatever platform that it is that you listen to podcasts. Leave a review. We read every single review, and we appreciate the time that you take to leave your thoughts and opinions. Now, also remember, while I am a medical doctor, the information I provide here is not intended to provide medical advice or professional diagnosis, opinion, treatment, or services to you or to any other individual. I am providing general information for educational and informational purposes only, and it is not a substitute for medical or professional care. You should not use this information in place of a visit, call, consultation, or the advice of your physician or other healthcare provider. The information I share is not intended to treat, cure, or diagnose any disease or medical condition. If you believe you have a medical emergency, just call 911 immediately or your physician. Now, enough of that medical legal jargon. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I appreciate your time. Now, go live a Fitz and Healthy life.